guys. Just wrapped up Lake Pickwick. Ended up finishing 48. You know, I went out the final day swinging and I just didn't connect. I was graphing pretty much all day, just looking for that mega school. After the first day, you know, I didn't really have much until about the last 30 minutes, and I found the school. The school never showed up on day 3, so you know, it is what it is. Super happy with my finish. Had a super tough practice. I'm just gonna go over a few of the rods I caught them on this week. This week was junk fishing 101 for me. I didn't have really any patterns going, so I was just running anything that looked good at the time, just picking up whatever rods I thought I might catch one on. First day, I started out the morning throwing the Nichols Sabre swim jig with the Googan Kraken crawl on a 7'2" favorite Summit rod. This is Dustin Connell's signature series rod on a 7.3-to-1 Solus XCS reel, and I was just throwing that swim jig in the backs of pockets around any cover that I could see, and I got 2 key bites first thing in the morning on that. I started in a pocket I'd actually never even been in practice or anything, and it worked out pretty good. Throughout the rest of the day, it was really tough on me. I caught a couple fish on a Ned rig, really 2 4-pounders that saved the day. I practiced some this week with the Googan rattling Ned, and for some reason or another, they just weren't wanting that rattle. So what I did was I was taking the lunker log and cutting it in half and using that as my Ned rig this week. And that was on the Jackhammer favorite 7-foot medium. It's a great Ned rig rod. It's got a light action, so you can really, but it's just got enough backbone you can really bury that hook. So that was pretty much all my day. All right, so on day 2, I caught a couple fish on a Ned rig. Just really didn't have much going. I think I had 2 or 3 keepers at like 1 o'clock. We were doing it 3:15. So I just started graphing. I found a school and I couldn't really get it to fire. I caught like 1 short fish out of it, and then I found a wad of fish. There was probably 50 to 75 fish down there. And I was throwing all my finesse baits out there thinking that they had been pressured and they wouldn't eat anything. And then I pick up the Nichols spoon, and 5 casts in a row, I caught a All right, day 3, I knew I was gonna have to go out and catch a big bag to make that top 10. You know, it was really top 10 or bust, and ended up busting, but it was a fun day nonetheless. No pressure, you know, you've already got a check secured. So I went out and I flipped the Googan Bandito bug first thing in the morning. I knew I had to change something up because they weren't gonna pull current till the afternoon. So I was like, well, I'm just gonna go fish somewhere I'd never even fished. So I went way up the river, flipped around, ended up catching 3 keepers off of it. I broke off like a 4-pounder on it. Not really sure what happened there, but I was pairing it on the 4-aught Gamakatsu flipping hook. That hook is the best flipping hook on the market, I can promise you that. And just to find, those fish were actually in the ends of the trees when they weren't pulling the current. I think they were just sitting there suspended. So you just sit there and bob that Googan Bandito bug up and down, and those appendages just be going crazy, and those fish couldn't resist it. These are the 4 main rods that I had on my setups this week. So on the Nichols spoon, I was throwing the 7.6 hex heavy. It's got enough backbone. You know, you want a heavy rod when you're throwing that big spoon. You're just popping it up and down off the bottom. And when that sucker hits it, it feels like a dang freight train down there. The Nichols swim jig, I was throwing it on the DC Summit rod. That is the best swim jig rod on the market. DC got it right when he designed that rod, and I was pairing it on a 7.3-to-1 reel, keeping it high in the water column, just getting those reaction bites really on those fish that were keying in on shad. The Ned rig this week was the Jackhammer 7-foot medium, and that's just my go-to Ned rig rod. It's a great Ned rig rod. And then obviously my favorite flipping rod, I was flipping the Bandito Bug on the 7.3 Rush. This is the best rod, in my opinion, favorite has. You can throw a spinnerbait, swim jig, frog, Texas rig. There's so much stuff you can throw on it. This, if I could only have one rod in the boat, this would be the rod I would have. So y'all be sure to check these out on Favorites website, on Tackle Warehouse, or any of y'all's local retailers. All right, guys, super happy with the finish this week. You know, always shoot to make a check. Wanted to make that top 10, didn't happen. With the points, great tournament. I think I'm going to move up some more in the AOY points. So really looking forward to getting to Guntersville here in a couple weeks. So y'all stay tuned.